So I think some of the most interesting things that are happening right now is definitely in kind of the northern Canadian territory, between Montana, New York, Rhode Island, kind of the collapse of Oregon as well. There are a lot of powers, I think, that still haven't grabbed everything that they can. And I think Montana, Indiana, or maybe even Rhode Island are going to take a lot of I think a lot of provinces, a lot of development very soon. Well, definitely Montana, because Montana is coming up into Oregon territory, and they are not going to let go. I think Oregon is going to be done because, well, let's see, who is also trying to grab territory? Texas. So Texas is still at war. That's why. Montana should be the ultimate absorber of power here. I think so. We'll also see kind of American. Oh, because Texas is. This is Iowa. I'm sorry. This is Iowa. Iowa's not in the war. Oh, Iowa is in the war. What am I smoking today? What? Some good shit, apparently. Some good shit. Okay. So Iowa's helping out Montana. That's what's happening. Iowa's obviously, claiming this land for themselves. Boom. There it goes. Who was released? Jefferson. Good old pal Jefferson. They're back. Good. I'm glad Jefferson is back. Texas is still trying with their, 3 stacks. But Oregon's going to shut them out here very soon. There it is right there. Okay. Well, no, there it is. Okay. Oregon is almost, well, this territory's all right for California, except for this part. Would they still be Oregon without this territory? They would, but yeah. Oregon peasants, that's going to make things so much worse. I don't know how they're going to get rid of that. Mississippi kind of grew into more of Texan lands. They're even in northern Texas now, modern-day northern Texas. Mississippi now allied to the enemy, kind of. Their enemy at one point, Montana. That is a weird alliance change. Guanajuato now allied to Rhode Island. They need to keep up those 5 allies for some reason. The AIs really likes to do that. We also have a war between New Brunswick and Newfoundland and Labrador. Of course we do. They were literally just born. They were just birthed again into this world a year ago. Not actually a year ago, but a few days, and then boom, back at war. How many times have we seen that? This region just doesn't like each other. Just don't like each other. It's crazy. So just boom, they're back at war. Central U.S. still a huge mess. Guanajuato still has this strong alliance over Mexico. So a consolidated Mexico, essentially. As consolidated as it gets. Colombia pretty much just kicked out Portugal, which is huge. Because Colombia is going to have a bigger role now, I think. I think that's safe to say. And yeah, so New Portugal also eliminated. Castilian West Indies seems to be about the same, and I think La Plata is the big power out of South America, though. La Plata is going to be the one to watch because let's see here, who's Brazil allied to? Brazil allied to nobody. Obviously, that says a whole bunch. Peru allied to the Castilian West Indies. That is an interesting choice. That is a very interesting choice. La Plata here. Oh, La Plata and Colombia are allied. That's the big reason why. It's the big reason why all this is happening. I see. Okay, so I was kind of confused there for a second. I think that's one of the reasons why they're so powerful. Where I'm seeing a little bit of a stagnation here. I don't know what happened. Did a huge war just break out, or what happened? Let's go back to the current wars. We haven't really had to do this too much, have we? France versus the British? I don't know if that's the big war. Indiana versus Mississippi. Oh, could that be it? Maybe, Drew. I don't know. Could it be? That is actually huge. We talked about this scenario. We talked about this. If Guanajuato decides to ally with Indiana, well, I don't know. This is interesting. This is going to be very, very interesting. That's part of the reason why I think we're seeing kind of a slowdown, because there's probably a lot of big wars that are occurring. Mississippi and Missouri are probably going to get crushed. But can Montana maintain all of this? Clearly we saw that Indiana declared the war themselves. France is winning over the British. They're probably going to take back Normandy. So they declared against Mississippi. That's what caused this whole thing to go down. Portugal's after the British as well. La Plata going after Peru, of course, with Colombia's help, and Castile and West Indies. So there's huge wars happening. The British are fighting this. Oh my gosh, the French landed. The French have landed. They're fighting all of Iberia and France. The British are not doing too good. These guys are not puppets, right? There's no like crazy royal marriages or anything like that. Yeah, no. Just wanted to confirm that because we have not been able to check too much there. Ming, okay, none of these big powers. Oh, Mogul's losing a lot of territory to this state in the subcontinent of India. Okay, so things are going crazy. La Plata and Colombia going to be really strong out of South America. In terms of this series, though, I think Montana is going to be the loser. And this is kind of a perfect time to have that little intro in there, because it really did seem like the modern-day Canadian region still had so much more room for something crazy to happen. You know, Indiana, New York, Rhode Island, Montana. These four great powers can't all occupy this same space. This town ain't big enough for the two of us. Like, that is exactly what they were probably telling to each other, essentially, in a certain way. How is Iowa not here? How is Iowa not? Oh, because Montana came to help out Mississippi. That's why. Iowa would have been a little bit more of help. Missouri, Mississippi, and Iowa might be a little bit different for Montana, but we'll see. Oh, Missouri's been separate peace. That's kind of a guarantee. Montana's not going to be doing so good. Because Missouri out of it means Mississippi's going to get crushed for sure, and Montana will be on the defensive in their small corner. And this is the same thing that happened in this location not too long ago. The same exact thing happened here, where like it stayed like a really long war. Because this is not enough war score for them to take the actual region. Anyways, you know what? Oregon might try something. Oregon and British Columbia might try something as we witness maybe the pushback of Montana. I definitely wouldn't classify this as the collapse of Montana. No way. Yeah, there's no way this is like the collapse, but they're gonna lose some stuff. Okay, so this war is still raging. This war's over, and just like I thought, France took back Normandy. France is in another war against Poland, Lithuania. Didn't realize Poland had surrounded Lithuania. Don't know how that happened. Novgorod looking strange. Strange Novgorod. Oh my gosh, no way. Yeah, Montana didn't lose a thing. It was Mississippi. Now we have Mississippi, Florida, and then like this Texan Mississippi. Indiana looks good. Indiana looks real good. Guanajuato, notice this. Guanajuato not as friendly towards Montana anymore. But at the same time, Guanajuato crushes Texas in a second Mississippi war, and they're going to get a lot more border friction. There's only -12 right now. What's it between Indiana and Montana? There's got to be a lot more. They just want each other's provinces. Dang, this small sliver of land, I don't know why I use that word so much. Northern Virginia going after South Carolina, really smart move there. This small piece of land really causing that much border friction is weird to me. There's not that much border between the two, but it says that at least for Guanajuato, or Indiana's opinion of Guanajuato, yeah, it's -12. At least for Indiana, it's -12. It's like two states, or this is three. Like 3 provinces bordering 2 provinces. That's not that big of a deal. Come on, man. Very, 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 very smart move for Northern Virginia. They're really kind of like a city-state, essentially, if we wanted to compare this to Civ 5 at the moment. But taking over Mississippi in South Carolina and taking, some land in Florida would be huge for them. Northern Virginia just needs better allies then. And why don't they have better allies? Okay, they don't like Indiana. They might be able to ally to Guanajuato one day, but Guanajuato has high standards somewhat. Kind of. They're kind of losing allies. I feel like every time we check, every few decades, it's like Guanajuato's losing their alliances that they once had. A lot of people hate Montana now. A lot of people hate Montana. And Iowa is not going to be able to find that strong... Oh, why are they not allied to New York? That's my big question. You need to pull Indiana into a dual front war if you want to have a chance. Like, it's very clear to me. No way. No. Oh, that's Mississippi. Okay. Northern Virginia has the same color as Mississippi, so I was like, no way. Oh, this is Texas. I don't know why I thought... Oh, Texas took this stuff back. Okay. Anyways, either way, very proud of Northern Virginia. Now just take out Western Virginia. I don't know what you're doing. Oh, that's why. I don't know why I didn't think of that before. There's a reason why West Virginia is still alive, and that's because they probably have a good ally. Northern Virginia is not ready to take on Rhode Island. But a New York-Indiana war. Oh, Rhode Island's out. Oh, that's why. I'm sorry. I'm not explaining what I'm saying right now. Anyways, so point is, Rhode Island is allied to Guanajuato. I keep forgetting that. That's big. So that keeps Rhode Island super safe. And it keeps Northern Virginia and New York in a really bad situation. Just because they expanded into South Carolina is not going to be enough. They've got to attack Mississippi again, or Northern Virginia needs to do something, because New York is in a tough situation. They need to find some better allies, and I don't think it's going to happen. Nice for Sonora. Very nice. Finally, no longer in that, no longer living under that Oregon rule. Now living underneath the Sonoran rule, I guess. California's back. Northern California, that is. What is this? San Joaquin Valley. San Joaquin Valley. I'm sure a lot of people thought I'd pronounce it like that. I am almost guarantee about 75% of people watching this thought I was going to say San Joaquin Valley. But not today. Cracklord has been put to a minimum today. San Joaquin Valley. I bet you there will be an example not too long into the future of me using Joaquin instead of Joaquin. Okay. Okay, so here we go. What's happening? I see there's a war. Smart for Montana to attack a Missouri with no allies. Well, besides New Mexico. Very, very smart move. However, this is going to be Iowa's war, I think. And this is going to probably unite Iowa, which, you know what? I don't know, because uniting Iowa would keep a bigger buffer zone for Montana. Montana is going to be in a good situation because there is this kind of collapse going on in Northern Carolina, this separation. There's no unity here anymore. Montana looks more, better and better every day. The problem is they lost some good alliances, and getting up to this alliance with Sonora is pretty smart. I will give them that. That's a very, very smart move, but Montana looks good. They just lost their great powers. And that's a really smart move for Guanajuato and Indiana, because maybe they started realizing, wait a second, Montana's cornering themselves off. They're looking really well. They don't have to worry about a big threat. Maybe that was, that obviously wasn't what they were thinking, because the AI doesn't think like that. But British Columbia's been gone, or been eaten. Point is, Montana was in a position probably to take over the entire continent, but because they lost that alliance with Indiana, and then they lost their alliance with Guanajuato, that killed them. I'd say this is a smart move to let Iowa become like this buffer zone. But how much longer is that really going to be a thing? Sonora would get their butt kicked from Guanajuato, but that's still good to have in place. So we're going to clearly see a big war at some point between Guanajuato, Indiana, versus Sonora, Iowa, and ultimately Montana. But Montana's not even that strong. And I'll check on development real quick. Oh my gosh, Nationalist War versus Portugal. Jeez, yeah, let's go check on development. Because again, we're just zooming on by. So it looks like Guanajuato's in 3rd place now. Indiana in 4th. Okay, so it's safe to say that Montana's not too far behind, but taking on these two powers ahead of them, it's gonna be really, really tough. Really tough. And those are the only strengths that really matter at this point. There's smaller powers that might be able to grow into something. Maybe Iowa one day, or Sonora. If they were to just, I don't know, personal union that shit or something. I don't know. There's a chance, but besides that, I don't see much opportunity, much room for another great power to grow at this point. Unless Colombia were to start attacking. How does Guanajuato like Colombia? They kind of don't have an opinion of each other. Colombia's going to be the big question, I think. Again, they're going to be in another really successful war, Colombia is, over Castilian West Indies. That's going to piss a lot of people off from North America. It's going to make a lot of people mad. Okay, so this war broke out. Yep, that's exactly what I thought. This war doesn't even matter, essentially, because it's already going to be a landslide for Indiana and friends, or Guanajuato and friends, or Rhode Island and friends, whatever you want to call it. They're both pretty significant powers. Guanajuato has a border. They can just move through Indiana territory. And boom, done. I like that Mississippi is just Florida now. Mississippi and Florida. I like that. It's kind of funny. They're just Florida. That's why this game is pretty funny. These SuperState AI games. Yeah, you're done. You are going to get crushed. Both you guys. And Rhode Island is... This is what I'm saying, though. It won't be entirely Indiana. Rhode Island, I think we're going to see in the top maybe 20. And if I'm feeling risky, I'm going to say maybe top 15 in terms of development by the end of this video. Rhode Island's going to be looking real good. And they might even be able to connect their territories. This region that they've had under their control for so long might finally be connected. And maybe we will see finally New England form out of Rhode Island, that formidable nation. I do want to check on like who is actually the one that declared the war, but it doesn't really matter since both Indiana and Rhode Island are occupying this stuff for themselves. So yeah, it doesn't really matter. Oh, there you go. Who's this? New Brunswick. Okay, so that is the first confirmation we've ever had that the superstates will colonize. It just takes them forever. For freaking ever. It's still really cool. I wish they'd colonize earlier. Not earlier, like at the midpoint in the game when things are not as interesting as the beginning, when there's less nations. It'd be cool if people started colonizing. But either way, it's just cool to get confirmation that they will eventually. They will eventually. No way. You did not take a thing. I mean, you barely took anything. Indiana only took one thing away. Rhode Island did take a lot away, but they didn't connect. And Northern Virginia still is... Oh, yeah, Northern Virginia lost South Carolina. Okay, never mind. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought the wrong thing. New Brunswick now just has complete control over Greenland. That's... Oh, or should I say Danish Greenmark? Yes. Danish Greenmark is a beautiful country. Danish New Brunswick mark. So what will be the next one that pops up? I'm thinking a Montana War is on the horizon. It has to be. All right, all these powers allied to each other too. No one... Yes, they're all allied to each other too. Rhode Island will be, I think it's safe to say, in the top 15 if the truce ends soon. But the next video will be our last video of the series. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying this. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I will see you guys next time.